Yes, sir. We are live. Amazing. What's going on, guys? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I know we're a little late, but better late than never. All right, let's get into it. Amazing. Hey, guys, what's going on? Like I said, happy Sunday. Welcome to the show. In case if you guys are unfamiliar with me, I am the conservative, as it states at the bottom of the screen, and on top of my logo, in the far right upper corner of the screen. And I am here to speak about current events along with the political climate that's going on in this country. So, what you will be hearing about are topics that that are deemed important, and when it comes to true issues that affect this very country that I live in, that you live in, that your children live in, and bringing up topics that would have you question whether or not these specific topics will need to be brought into question in order to make this country great again. As it says on my hat, we want to make America great again. And in order to do that, we have to be able to question the very issues and come up with proper solutions to the issues in order to make the country great. Okay. So before we start the show, for those of you that tuned in, you pretty much know what I expect prior to, uh, in order to make the show work. For those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, I only ask for a few things. I don't really ask for much. The first thing I'm going to ask for you guys to do if you're tuning in into the show um is to do a few things. I'm going to have a call of action uh need from you guys in order to make the show not only a pleasurable one, but a show that hmm, okay, that was weird. But to not only to make the show a pleasurable one, but a show that YouTube will have to be able to promote if we get if we do specific things to allow YouTube to promote the show. So, um, a few a few things that I will ask for a call of action from you guys is to hit the like button if you're tuning in into the show. All right, because it affects the algorithm, and the more like buttons that we get from the audience, um, the more engagement is then brought into the show, the more YouTube will have to promote the show, whether they like it or not. Also, I will need you guys to leave a comment during and after the show. Again, it affects the algorithm and it allows YouTube to have to promote the show and to get it out to the masses for the very people that need to listen to the show. Same thing, like the live stream. And also, if you want to join the show, there is the link above. And I will also place a link in the comments section in the event that you guys will want to join the show. So you have two ways to join the show if you want to be a part of the show, or you can sit back and just hear me monologue. Now, depending on the engagement that I'm getting on the show, that's going to determine how long I'm going to be able to monologue and keep the show going. Obviously, if there isn't that much engagement, then that's when I will cut the show short. And then you guys, if you want to, can view the show on your own leisure. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, let's get on with it. So, interesting topic that I have on hand, but like I said, I am the guy that is always going to bring about conversations that need to be had. All right? Because the only way that we can be able to fix any issues in our country is if we're able to at least have a conversation about it. And the conversation at hand is, should homosexuals be deemed a mental disorder? Very interesting topic. And the reason why I placed the topic at hand is that there seems to be an issue among homosexuals and the law. Now, am I saying that all homosexuals are willing to break the law and just run amok and cause all types of destruction and disturbance throughout society? Absolutely not. Not all, not all, not all. Not all homosexuals will be deemed a menace to society. But we do have the ones that will do it, and it is it is because and the reason why they'll do it is not necessarily because of anything else other than the turmoil that they have in being homosexuals. The whole idea of of not not truly accepting yourself for who you are is the result. It winds up ending in a result of homosexuals going out of control. And the prime example of this is the recent mass shooting that occurred on July 3rd, in which a man who cross dresses um, went out and gunned down 5 people and injuring 2. So in all, 7 victims were shot. And the reason why this man did it was because he claimed to wanting to clean the streets of Philadelphia and rid these people that he claimed were an issue to the very people in that specific community. And even though this person had zero relationships with any of the people that he gunned down. And if you don't believe me, here's a clip of this just to show you an example of who this person was.
really the fiction.
Sorry, that was the wrong one.
Firing at an SUV with a rifle at the corner of 56th Street and Chester Avenue. At a news up.
Wow, that was short. Okay. So the person that committed the crime was a 40-year-old cross-dressing man that goes by the name of Kim Brady Character. He was described as a person that liked art, but was deemed weird. He was a person that would dress in women's clothing. All right. And I may have a clip of this guy. Let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. I believe I have a clip of this very man. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, you know what? I don't think it'll allow me. Will it allow me to pick it? Might not even be able to pick it. Let me see. Well, you guys viewed the thumbnail, so the very person that was on the thumbnail is the suspect that was responsible for gunning down 5 innocent people. And clearly, this man had mental issues. But one of his mental issues was that he was considered a homosexual. Now, they all wanted to claim that he was trans, except for the fact that this man was not. This man just was not trans. He just liked to dress up in women's clothing and portray himself as a woman. He clearly, I think he clearly was a homosexual. I think he was a man that would dress up as a woman and would potentially go out at night to pick up men at night, whether they willingly or unwillingly knew that he was a biological male. And um then we have another example of a mass shooting that occurred way back um in Tennessee, where a biological female pretending to be a male commits a mass shooting in a school that she once attended, in which she gunned down 6 people, including 3 9-year-old children. Take a look.
Then you can see the person, identified by police as Audrey Hale, step through the door to begin her rampage. Later, the 28-year-old transgender woman is seen pacing the hallway, heavily armed, as alarms are blaring.
Yeah, I don't know why they're calling her a transgender woman. Um, I mean, she was a biological female, I guess, pretending to be a male.
Hale enters the church office and then eventually heads towards another door. We then see Hale walking past the children's ministry. Police say she killed 6 people, including 3 9-year-old kids, and was then killed by police within 14 minutes. The suspect shoots through a side door in this surveillance video released by Nashville police. Then you can see the person, identified by police as Audrey Hale, step through the door to begin her rampage.
So, 28-year-old Aubrey Hale in Tennessee guns down 6 people, including 3 9-year-old children. Um, Obviously, this was a woman who suffered from a mental illness. The one thing that people always tend to say about the homosexuals, for the most part, homosexuals in general. I'm not speaking about all homosexuals, but for the most part, homosexuals in general, is that people always claim that homosexuals are loving people, they are inclusive people, they love everybody, they accept everybody, but they do the complete opposite. The moment that you criticize them for their lifestyle, they are ready to attack you. We've seen that on many occasions. Uh, they are also the most violent among themselves and are 9 times more likely to commit a violent crime, all because all because of the torment that they have of being homosexuals. So the question is, should homosexuality be deemed a mental disorder? Because even if these homosexuals claim that they are the happiest people in the world, they are truly not. Because if they were, they wouldn't be committing mass shootings. I mean, look at the last two examples. It was dealing with a man pretending to be a woman and a woman pretending to be a man, carrying out uh, a violent act that claimed the lives of multiple random people that these people did not have a relationship with, all because they didn't know how to deal with the torment of being confused. As a matter of fact, I think I should have changed the topic, because the topic really is not even about homosexuality. These people are just clearly confused. Should confused people be deemed a mental order? Meaning, I guess anyone that identifies as LG, whatever they call themselves. I just call them the confused people. It's an interesting thing, and I think it's something that we should have a conversation about, because it's getting to the point now where if this is not being discussed, that this can actually snowball into a situation where this can be real truly detrimental to the very community that these people live in. The last thing we want is for this to exacerbate. So we should have a conversation about it. Why not? Why not? Um, is it the end all to is it would it be the end all to everything? Possibly, you know. Why not have a conversation about it? Um, can we say that being confused is normal? It's not. They can come out with all of the terms to describe their confusion, gender dysphoria, and all this other crap. The truth of the matter is, the main thing that makes these people even want to think that they are in an identity crisis are two things: anger and depression. Actually, let me just go out and say that it's really just anger, because anger then leads to depression. Anger is usually the main culprit. It is the catalyst that leads a person to have doubts about who they are. It's anger more than anything else. And until we have a conversation about that, then these type of events will continue. Okay. I also want to show you another example of why we should have a conversation about whether or not uh, homosexuality should be deemed a mental disorder. Take a look.
It's about flaunting an aggressive sexuality without any moderation or any consideration or any sense of time and place, dignity, no sense of.
Now, this is supposed to be during Pride Month, where they're supposed to be celebrating, uh, where they're supposed to be celebrating love, um, inclus, uh, being inclusive, just love and inclusion. But what you're seeing here is anything but that. Because truth of the matter is these people want to celebrate the perversion and deviant um, sex that they are willing to display. And these people flaunt their perversion and sexual appetite among the same sex, and this is something that really should be brought in for a conversation for, because if if heterosexual pornography is banned is banned until adulthood, which would probably be like at the age of 18 or so, how is it that you can ban that but then expose children to this?
Propriety or even
I mean,
sexuality without any
just look.
moderation or any consideration or any sense of time and place, dignity, no sense of propriety or even a mutual love. I mean, this is promoting instead a really highly sexualized world, and say the same whether they were gay, bi, or straight, in which American schools and libraries even invite drag queens to educate children.
And it's all sexual. What's the word I'm looking for? Sexual deviance, um, sexual. Um, it's not provocation. Okay, these are people that are willing to um, to promote themselves in a sexual manner. All of this stuff has nothing to do with pride at all. But what they do is they portray themselves in a or they expose themselves in a provocative manner, and then they hide behind the whole pride shield because they want to distract people from what they are truly trying to display, which is trying to display their sexual perverted their perverted deviant sexual hunger and sexual provocation for the same sex. Not to mention they're trying to groom children into being that way as well.
With some woke parents getting the drag queens to dress their children in drag too, and then work the room for some cash.
It's grooming.
That's the progress.
Yes, sir. Grooming. Now, tell me, is this normal or abnormal? I mean, do normal people actually engage in this? So, guys, hold on, guys. Give me 1 second, okay? Hold on 1 second, all right. We're gonna go through a quick intermission. All right, guys. Sorry about that. All right. So going back to what we said. This is very, very, very important, and I think it's important to bring up this very topic because, folks, um, looking at the very thing that these homosexuals are doing, um, and looking at the fact that even though the confused group, even though they make up less than 5% of the U.S. population, um, I believe they did a poll where they're saying that about like 20% of the kids in school identify as these confused people. In other words, you have men pretending to be women, women pretending to be men, men claiming to want to have sexual relations with other men, and women claiming to want to have romantic rendezvous with other women. Well, it's all, when it comes down to it, it's all about sex. That's what it's all about. So this is something that could grow, um, and if we don't address this abnormality, the the bloodline could die off. So, is it normal for a man to want to have sexual relations with another man? No. Is it normal for a woman to have sexual relations with another woman? No. Um, it is a lifestyle, and it's a lifestyle that adults tend to choose. However, is it um is it intuitive, or is that type of lifestyle conducive to society as a whole? Well, the answer would be no. Okay. Does it necessarily uh does it necessarily increase the bloodline? Can homosexuals procreate among each other? And the answer is no. They can't procreate among each other. So, what is the use of homosexuality, right? And then also you're seeing that homosexuality can lead to, people being violent and carrying out violent acts that can lead to serious injury and death. Are these the very things that we should be addressing? Now, keep in mind, in 1952, homosexuality was deemed a mental illness, meaning that if you were diagnosed, meaning that if you were a homosexual, that more than likely you would be um, relegated to a mental institution. It was once considered a mental illness up until 1973, when the American Psychiatric Association uh, ended homosexuality being deemed a mental disorder. That, in other words, being a homosexual was considered normal and not abnormal. There was a time where being homosexual would be considered illegal in America. And all of that changed in 1973 when the experts, the American Psychiatric Association, um, deemed it uh deemed it unfair and and willingly ended any idea of homosexuality being deemed a mental illness. And because of that, now it's being accepted. So, but now, we're what we're seeing is a change. What we're seeing is that the very people that are committing these violent crimes, these people were people that society would consider them being identified as a part of the confused group, the LG whatever they call themselves group. So, if we don't want these things to happen, then the question remains, should homosexuality be deemed a mental disorder? Is it something that we need to look at? Okay. And I would have loved to have a conversation about this tonight, but but I think this is something that needs to be a continued conversation for the next show. And I think what I'll plan on doing for the next show is actually having the guest and then being able to have the conversation. Because I think it's important. I think it's important that we have an open dialogue about this because because the violent, deviant, perverted acts that we're seeing among these people are all linked to the alternative lifestyle that they are choosing to live by. And if we can open up the conversation about whether or not homosexuality is the cause of all of these acts, and if we should go back to labeling it a mental disorder, uh, would these acts have been committed in the first place? And I think that's a conversation that is worth having. Amazing. And we will have that conversation uh on the next show. All right. So, with that being said, we are going to conclude the show. Um if you happen to catch this show on your own leisure, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and look out for more content on the double as I will be dropping consistent content on my channel. Also, if you happen to subscribe to my channel, click on the notification button so that you will be notified as of when new content is dropping on my channel. And with that being said, this is the conservative, and I am signing out. Happy White History Month. I know I forgot to mention that in the beginning of the broadcast, but happy White History Month. See, I have my White History Month shirt. Thank you. Amazing. Happy White History Month, guys.
History Month. So be sure to tell everyone there will always be different months to celebrate. This month's gonna be White History.